Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown, Dunkirk, and Westfield, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey everybody, good morning, and what a great morning it is. If you're still at home sipping on your coffee, get outside. It's absolutely gorgeous. A little breezy, but that's okay. Oh, after the show. Thank you, Jeff. Yes, after you watch a Chautauqua Sunrise. But if you are so inclined, you can always watch us later at 2 and 8 o'clock every day here on Access Chautauqua, Spectrum 1301. All right, but it is gorgeous. And good afternoon for those of you that are watching us anywhere in the world, or Tuesdays at 1 o'clock on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people. Glad you could join us. Got another good show in store for you as always. I hope you've been enjoying this past couple of months of shows that we've been doing. We've been crisscrossing just about every topic you can think about, and this month is going to be no different. I try to find a variety of topics to talk about, and remember, it's always about Chautauqua County and our region. I try to include bits of Pennsylvania and a little bit of Erie County, New York, and maybe over getting to Cattaraugus County, because I'm not totally isolated here, but because we all kind of work together. But anyways, the cool stuff, the good stuff here in Chautauqua County. So great weather out there, and get outside and do some really nice stuff today. Hey, listen, throughout the show, if you have a question or a comment, an announcement for your club or organization, everybody, we're waking up again after that deep sleep of 2020. I don't know how many times I've talked to people and say, I really don't remember what happened last year. It's just like we were all like in our little holes like prairie dogs. But if your club or organization is having an event, a fundraiser, or something you want to share that's important, 716-753-5225, okay? You can email us at chautauquasunrise@gmail.com. I get a lot of mail that way, and a lot of times people forward their events that way as well. It's not limited also to just events. If you have a special, I don't know, birthday you want to do a shout out to, or anyone that you know is listening, glad to do it. Just call. Randy's on the other end of the line, and he'll pipe you through the system here, and we'll talk with you. So don't be shy. Okay, what else is going on? Well, fingers crossed. We here at the crew and I we're all going to try to land and show up at the Tarp Skunks opening game this week. I'm going to put my official hat on here just for a moment. All right, there's the Tarp Skunk. And over in Jamestown at the Russ Dietrich Stadium. And that's going to be this Thursday at 7 o'clock. So we're hoping the weather's good, and we're going to descend upon the group down there and get some really cool seats. The prices are really reasonable. And they range, I think, from what I see, $5 up through about $12 for the reserve seats. But I mean, gosh, anybody can afford to go to the game. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm sure they're going to have some special promotions that night. And anyways, so let's keep our fingers crossed the weather's good, and the Chautauqua Sunrise crew will be there. Speaking of the weather is also allowing venues to have outdoor music. And now that we are slowly digging our way out of the pandemic, more and more venues are opening up for music. And I keep in touch with a lot of different folks on Facebook, and more of the groups, the bands, soloists are getting out there and performing, and we're not there yet, but we're getting really closer to way things have been, even though I don't know if it'll ever be the same. But I'm just so pleased to see that we're able to get out and enjoy more and more of our county, including music. And totally for self-serving purposes, this afternoon, me and the Growlers, our band, are going to be playing at the Big Inlet at 4:30 to 5:30, and we're opening for the band Osborne Nash. Okay? If you haven't been to the Big Inlet, it's like just outdoor concert, picnic tables, dogs running around, kids enjoying themselves, real family setting. They've got food trucks and beverages of your choice, and it's free to get in. And we have a great time. And the Growlers have put together a power set for an hour, and we're just really looking forward to it. So we're going to have some fun. Okay, a little bit on the pandemic as we grind slowly through this. I looked up on CNN just for the heck of it today how we're doing as New York State for vaccinations. And according to what I read, okay, I don't know if it's a primary source or not, but what I read, as a little inside joke here, I looked at 4 different states to see how they're doing percentage-wise. So our neighbor, a little bit to the west, Ohio, is at 40.6%. I think we're striving for 70% for herd immunity. Let's see, who's next? I looked at Pennsylvania, our immediate neighbor, 44.69. Doing a little better. New York State at 47.5%, almost 48%. So almost, we're just about halfway. But Massachusetts, 54.6. It's like a patriot curse. I mean, no matter what they do, they got to beat us. So, anyways, I know they're offering incentives. I'm not making this up. I read somewhere where they were offering free beer. It's true. All right, I got a second nod on that. Free beer to get vaccinated. What's that all about? I mean, come on. Do you need a coupon to go somewhere and eat or drink to get vaccinated? Anyways, looks like we're doing pretty well. Some of the states that are west and south of here are not doing anywhere as near as well as we are. So let's continue to get that number to grow. And I don't know what the stats are in Chautauqua County. I think they're pretty similar. But we seem to reflect the state. But people say, wow, the pandemic's over. The pandemic is not over. There's still people hospitalized with COVID. And I've run into a couple people recently that know family members that have just contracted it after all this time, wearing all these masks, getting the vaccinations, and surrounding themselves with people that are vaccinated. It's still sneaking in there. And I understand that some of the younger kids, like in high school, are coming down with this, or in college. So they're trying to get the vaccine pushed down to the younger folks as well. It's still a serious matter. It's still not one of those things that just kind of comes and goes. Person I know, personal friend of ours, she was down for 2 weeks. This was just recently on oxygen. I think I mentioned it last week. Just saw her the other day, and said she was having a lot of trouble walking still and catching her breath. So this is still out there. So please treat it seriously. Okay, we have some announcements to go through that have come through this week. So let's see what we have. Got a fundraiser. Okay, let's pop that up. This is from Marie Johnson. She's the new program director at the Chautauqua Lake Child Care Center. And she asked me to promote this. It's a fundraiser for their scholarships that helps benefit about 90% of the children enrolled in their center. And the Chautauqua Lake Center Care Center, Child Care Center, is just down the road at the school. How cool is that, having a child care center right in a school? All right, now, when is it? It's coming up next Saturday. The fundraiser will take place on June 12th at 21 Bricks, which is on Route 20 out there in Westfield. Tickets are only $20. It includes live music by the band called For the People. You get 3 wine tastings, snacks, and there's prizes. People who wish to purchase tickets may contact them at the Child Care Center by calling 716-753-5851 or by emailing childcare@sealake.org. Okay? And there's the poster, and they thank you. Next one we have is the giving to the big CHQ, the big Chautauqua, on June 10th. That's coming up this week. Okay? You're going to see this in the paper and on the radio and so forth. All your not-for-profits are pushing hard to get June 10th is their big donation day. So in this particular case, it's Prevention Works sent this, and as you know, we talk quite a little bit about Prevention Works and what they do because it's so important. So this is what they have to say. Please give big on CHQ Day on June 10th, big CHQ. All donations to Prevention Works helps us provide education resources to our community. The Chautauqua Center, as many of you know, is now in Dunkirk and Jamestown, is kindly matching up to $250 in any donations made during the day. How cool is that? Will you help them with their mission? Hashtag GiveBigCHQ, and this is donating to Prevention Works. All right? So think about that. And if you're so inclined, there are a number of other organizations that are promoting that particular day and foundations and so forth. All right, this next one's kind of a long one, but it's kind of an educational one. I'll pick out little bits and pieces that I think are pretty cool. Okay, I did not know this, Justin, all right? June is not for Justin. It's not Justin's month. It's Dairy Month. Did you know that? Cornell Cooperative Extension shares more about the positive impact dairy farming has in our region. I know you thought June was for J for Justin. That's why you're looking at me. It's not yours. All right. Okay. Summer just wouldn't be the same without dripping ice cream cones, melted cheese on hamburgers, and a nice cold glass of milk with dinner. Milk is plentiful in our area thanks to our region's dairy farmers that work tirelessly to provide safe, high-quality, low-cost dairy products for our families to enjoy. We're especially enjoying dairy this month as we celebrate June is Dairy Month across the country. In the southwest New York region, encompassing Steuben, Chautauqua, Cattaraugus, Allegheny, and Erie counties, there are, how many dairy farms, Justin?
152.
680 dairy farms. Those farms, not even close. Those farms care for, how many cows? Okay, I'll give you a number to pick from. 1 to 1 million. 75,000 dairy cows that produce enough milk to produce 3 servings of dairy to 2 million people every day. This milk travels from farms to local facilities where it's bottled into milk for schools and stores and made into blocks and slices of cheese. I'm a cheese guy. Slices of cheese and cultured for products like yogurt and buttermilk. Dairy is a year-long operation where farms and employees provide quality care to cows every day of the year, regardless of holidays or cold weather or other challenges. Routine tasks take place like cleaning and checking the health of cows, providing fresh feed and water multiple times a day, and milking 2 to 3 times a day. To help make all this happen efficiently and smoothly, farm owners and managers employ others and work with many different agri-service providers. You know, I'm almost going to be a pro on dairy because we watch Dr. Pol on TV like every day. My wife loves that show, and I start diagnosing what the problem with the cow is. I say, roll that cow over and get a trocare and stick it in there and let the gas out and all this stuff. An average 100-cow dairy farm will need about 2.5 employees to make everything run smoothly. That seems hard to believe. You only need 2.5 people, including both family partners and or full or part-time employees. However, these are just the people employed by this particular farm. There are many hands at work on a dairy farm, including the services of others like veterinarians, nutritionists, milk haulers, hoof trimmers, consultants, and many more. So although that specific farm might only have 2.5 people on their payroll, the impact a single dairy farm has on the job market is huge. From an economic point of view, dairy is big news in our region and provides many economic benefits. Studies show that for every $1 a farmer receives, $2.29 is generated in the local community. Farming remains inherently local. The store where feed for the animals is purchased is a short drive away. The tractor repair business is down the road, and the veterinarian, Dr. Pohl, the farm for the farm is close enough to call for quick calls in a short period of time. Okay, so one more couple notes, and then we'll wrap this up. A single 100 cow. Read funny. A single 100 cow dairy farm could have as much as, little drum roll, $2.78 million in economic effect in the region. Let me say that again. 100 cows on a farm can have as much as $2.78 million in economic effect in the region and create 29 direct and indirect jobs. It takes a lot of moving parts to take a raw product like milk and turn it into goods that we purchase and enjoy. Whew. So, anyways, it's Dairy Month, and, appreciate what they do, because if you haven't been on a dairy farm, it really, truly is as much work as they're saying here, and milk is so much part of our lives. So if you want more information, you always give them a call at 640-0522, and they'll be happy to talk to you more about that. So, good on the dairy farmers. Thank you. Now, this next one is interesting. Remember, I read these, so you may have different thoughts on this one, but it's been in the newspaper, but I said I would share this. So think about this now. Ready? Who would have thought in 2021 I would be reading the following headline? City of Jamestown announces initiative to get commercial cannabis business into the city. We're moving in a different direction these days. The City of Jamestown and its municipal utility company, the Jamestown Board of Public Utilities, announced today an appeal to commercial cannabis businesses, highlighting Jamestown's unique competitive and comparative advantages. This includes, but is not limited to, cultivators, processors, cooperative licenses, and incubator programs. The city provides affordable power and water, multiple potential locations, and a welcoming community with a capable workforce for commercial cannabis grow operations to open facilities. With the recent passage of legislation, recreational cannabis use is now legal in the state of New York. As the newly established Office of Cannabis Management, otherwise is known as OCM, implements a comprehensive regulatory framework that covers medical, adult use, and cannabinoid hemp. That's a new word for me, cannabinoid. Jamestown is seeking new businesses interested in grow operations and production. All right, and I'll just read a little bit more here. Jamestown is the ideal place for cannabis-based business with a responsive municipal utility providing low-cost electricity and water to all customers, affordably priced and available facilities from 10,000 square feet to 150,000 square feet. Jamestown boasts an excellent quality of life, business-friendly administration of both the city and the BPU that will work to help businesses succeed, all in a prime location in one of the largest cannabis markets in the world. Okay, if you're interested to know more, you can give the Jamestown Department of Development a call at 483-7541. Time marches on. Okay, let's go to slide 15, Jeff. The Chautauqua Center is breaking ground for a new clinic in Dunkirk. If you haven't seen the one in Jamestown, it's absolutely gorgeous. So there they are. Let's see. This was just the other day. This is going to be located at 75 East 3rd Street in Dunkirk. The project will allow the Chautauqua Center to bring medical, dental, behavioral, health, and pharmacy services under one roof. Justin, you go there in Jamestown, right?
Mm-hmm.
And anybody else you know? A lot of other folks?
My dad, my brother, my uncle.
Your family? So pretty good stuff, huh? Okay. The Chautauqua Center is a huge asset to the community, explained Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendell, who was on site for the ceremony. This building will become a vital piece of the medical corridor in Dunkirk and complements the new health center they built in Jamestown. TCC was vital in effort to combat COVID-19 by being one of the first to provide testing and vaccines. They are a gem for the city of Dunkirk and all of Chautauqua County. 37,500 square feet. Woo, that's a good building. Will be transformative for Dunkirk and surrounding areas by significantly expanding TCC's capacity to provide critical health care services and so forth. They're planning on, listen to this, 23 medical exam rooms. That's a hotel. 8 dental operatories, 14 private counseling rooms, 2 group counseling rooms, and a retail pharmacy. The project is anticipated to be completed by February 2022. That's not very far away. That's like, what, 8 months away? Dunkirk, my buddy, Mayor Willie Rosa said, we welcome this project with open arms. The Chautauqua Center offers quality health care services that are needed in Chautauqua County and Dunkirk. Although unable to attend, Tom Reed said the following: we truly appreciate the vital, high-quality medical services and compassionate care the Chautauqua Center has provided the Chautauqua County community, and so forth. Let's see here. So, anyways, that's coming to Dunkirk, and that's really cool. And one of the things that I'd like to share with you, having dealt with hospitals in Westfield and other areas, and the Chautauqua Center, they work together. It's not a competition. They offer services a lot of the hotels. Did I just say hotel? Hospitals just don't have, and so I think it's nice to have them in our county. Good stuff. And finally, it's Saturday morning. What would be a Saturday without Triple P? Okay, parents stay positive with Triple P Positive Parenting Program. Our free 2-hour discussion groups can help you identify some of the reasons for the problem behavior, including parent traps. Keep track of the problem behavior using positive parenting strategies for preventing the problem behavior and encouraging good behavior. I think they sit around trying to figure out how many P's I can say in the morning. Use positive parenting strategies for dealing with the problem behavior if it happens. Continue to redefine their parenting plans. There's like 38 P's in that. Each discussion group can be taken as a standalone, and let's see, where are we at? So that one's already, this is coming up. Dealing with disobedience, that's going to be on June 7th from 12 to 2. All these are from 12 to 2. I'm checking here. 12 to 2. And it's on Zoom. Okay, no worry. It's free. It's so June 7th, 12 to 2. That one's called Dealing with Disobedience. Managing Fighting and Aggression, June 14th, 12 to 2, Zoom. June 28th, Developing Good Bedtime Routines. Go to bed. No. Go to bed. No. I don't want to go to bed. Go to bed. Can I have a drink? I'm scared, all that good stuff. 12 to 2. And this is for children from 0 to 12 years old. Hassle-free shopping with children. Oh, one of my favorites. Parents of children 0 to 12, July 12th. Cost 0, Zoom, yes. You're in the store, the kid's screaming, they want ice cream, you say no, you're a terrible parent, blah, 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 and they throw themselves on the floor and carry on and embarrass everybody. Okay, so that's a part of Prevention Works, and you can contact them to enroll for those. We're going to take a little breather, and we'll be right back, and I'm going to stop peeing here and pop in my peas, and this is for you.
The strength of our country hasn't just been won on the battlefield. It's won every day in our communities when we come together in our toughest times. For over 100 years, the American Legion has been strengthening communities by providing life-saving help and support to our veterans and neighbors during our nation's toughest times.
It's what the Legion's all about.
We are the American Legion, veterans strengthening America. To learn how you can help, visit legion.org.
As many of you know, we have somewhere between 10 and 11,000 veterans in Chautauqua County, so check that out, guys. Okay, I digress too much on all these other things. I want to welcome back to my show LJ Martin from the, see if I get this right, Chautauqua Cattaraugus Library System.
That's it.
Whew! CCLS. I practiced that on the way over here. How you been?
Good.
Yeah, you were patient enough to go through all those announcements. Pretty wild stuff going on, huh?
A lot of good stuff, though.
Yeah. Chautauqua County is a great place to live. Now, do you live in Chautauqua County?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
But you weren't born and raised here.
Oh, I was.
You were?
I was.
Okay.
So I was went to Chautauqua Lake School, well, Chautauqua when it was Chautauqua, and through the merger, and then left the area for 8 years, and now I'm back.
That's why I asked you that,
Yes.
because I knew you haven't been here all that time.
Yep.
And it was like in the back of my mind. So this is like your home stomping ground, right?
It
here.
is. It
okay.
is.
So yeah, I remember the former Chautauqua school. That was
Mm-hmm.
kind of interesting school. Okay. And you've been with the library system how long now?
A year and a half, going
Okay.
up on 2 years. So
Coming up on 2 years.
sometimes it seems longer, other times it's just yesterday.
So what you said to me today when you walked in, I got a new title or additional duty. So
Mm-hmm.
so go ahead, tell us what you do for a living.
So the official title is I am the Outreach Coordinator and Youth Services Coordinator for the Chautauqua Cattaraugus Library System. And I always joke that the title is bigger than I am.
So why did you get youth services? Was that something new or something they were downsizing, or how does that work?
My colleague who I came in, brilliant Valley Blair, she retired. So we lost a really powerful person and force in our system. And then it was during the pandemic, so budgets, New York State, all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And because of my background in education, it was a natural fit. So here I am.
What is your background in education?
I was K-12 librarian and then taught a couple other classes on philosophy and that. So
Very cool.
working with kids is
Yeah.
where I like to be.
Very good. So we're going to do this, but we got waylaid, if I remember right.
Yes.
But this is cool. And so we're gonna take a little tour today, right?
We are.
I'm not gonna go any further on that. And we're gonna talk about a summer program that you're gonna talk about. So it doesn't matter what any order you want to go, we'll go.
Well, I'll start off with we're in the summer season, so school's kind of winding down, and it's our busy time for all our libraries. We gear up for summer reading program, SRP, in our little library world. And it's a big time for the public libraries because they work to get the families involved. We want to try to help stop the summer slide, it's called, in education. And so you go a couple months without that structured education, structured reading time in the classroom, and some kids will lose a lot of the skills that they gained in their previous year.
You know, people don't believe that sometimes. They don't.
No.
They don't realize that what we do in school, if we don't use it, we lose it, and that's really true. And being in education myself, we would test kids, of course, in June, and then test them again. You know, simple, basic little test, and see where they are in September. And that sometimes they'll lose 20% of what they know, and it's just because of practice. You know, like a muscle. You got to keep working it. Right?
Yep.
So what does the summer reading program involve?
A lot of it is just really the encouragement to get involved in a community. So coming back in with other people who use the library, you have your friends who have the same kids of the same age, and just kind of get that come together around reading. So our libraries across the county will offer different programs, but it's all around the same theme. New York State puts out a theme every year. This year it's Tales and Tales, so we get to have a lot of animal stories and conversations, which will be really fun.
Did you know it's Dairy Month?
I did not, so that ties in perfectly.
I just did a little segue there.
It all comes
It
together.
all comes together. Okay, tales of tales? Or
Tales and Tales.
Tales and tales. Okay.
And so you'll see the first graphic on one of the pictures. It has all the barnyard animals, which fits really well for this area. In different libraries, we'll do story times. They'll do
we
craft
go.
kits. There it is. So you got our horse and the pig, and they're all reading.
You said a craft kit. What do you mean by that?
So a lot of our libraries, throughout the pandemic, we had to close the doors physically, but we were still doing a lot of things. And one of the main things that we really found worked well is these take and make craft kits. And so they could, librarians could do the story time online, on Facebook, on their website, and families could stop by and just pick up a little bag, and it had all the makings. And so you could go home as a family and make this little craft surrounded about the theme of the story, and just a variety of different things that our librarians came up with. Coffee filter butterflies and all these fun little things. And so you just get the things, and so the coffee filters and the pipe cleaners, and then they'll go through the instructions, and here's how you put together to make whatever the craft is going to be.
So you're taking the little story about the butterfly, maybe I'm making this up as I go, of course.
Yeah.
And then you create something that goes with the story?
Yep.
Okay. Or if it was about some other animal, a bird, or maybe a little nest or whatever.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I did a lot of that hands-on kind of stuff, and really, when we find an education that we talk at kids, or they read, they get part of the information, but when they actually now get their hands involved, right? You know where I'm going with this?
Yep.
They start to apply what they learn. They apply, this is how the wings move, or this is how the nest is formed, or the materials, and they kind of get involved in that activity. Really helps a lot.
And it does, and it brings it home, and it gets engaged and not just sitting as a consumer, but it becomes their project, their craft, their story.
So where does the funding come from for these things?
A lot of different places. And so you were talking about the Give Big that's happening.
Yeah.
Prevention Work was doing it.
Give Big.
We have quite a few of our libraries who are participating in that, trying to get their community come together. Some of them have very specific projects. They're looking to get new shelving because they're running out of space. Others are looking to get more digital books, because we have a huge resurgence of those using the digital resources, and then others who are using it for summer reading programs. CCLS, we've gone through on behalf of some of the libraries for the Community Foundation to get a summer reading grant to help fund these kits and make sure that even more families can participate and have the resources that they need to have the story times and have those good conversations around literature and reading.
So there's people that support financially these projects behind the scenes.
Yep.
So it doesn't cost anything for the parents.
Correct.
Very cool. I've had the foundation folks. I've had Tori here. I've had Diana from the north, and they always say Chautauqua County is a very generous county.
It is.
And I like to say these things. I'm just not blowing smoke at people or making things up. It truly is. I mean, when we're in a crisis, Chautauqua people come together, or when there's a time of need, and they're generous, whether it's buying a ticket or chicken dinner, or like you say, just making a flat donation on the big CHQ. So good for you, everybody that's listening right now. So that's part of the program. So so what's planned for this summer?
There's kind of, it's been hard, I will say, because the unknown, planning for the unknown is impossible to do, but we're doing it. And I'm proud of.
We've all gotten kind of good at that.
Yeah,
right?
we have.
It's like,
the skills we didn't know we needed. And so there's been a lot of conversation about whether it's going to still be digital, in person, kind of a combination.
Yeah.
And a lot of our libraries are going to do a combination. And so you'll start to see things being advertised in the next few weeks for your local library, whether it's going to be like an outdoor story time, or maybe going to the local park, because some of our libraries don't have much space outside. Poor little Clymer only has its parking lot, but they're going to use their local park, working with rec programs again this year to get those kids involved. And then some of the bigger libraries are bringing in entertainers, educational entertainers, and some of them are going to have live animals and talk about the care of the animals and how that relates to maybe pets and things that our families can relate to.
And again, funding will offset those, because a lot of these programs, it's a couple $100 sometimes to bring in, like the zoo into the community. And people say, well, you can go to the zoo anytime. A lot of kids don't have the finances. The family doesn't have the structure, the transportation to get the kids to those places, right?
Yeah.
So we got to remember that not to get on my soapbox, but we're a very generous community, but we're also a community that has a lot of poverty.
We do.
And we don't always see that poverty because people are very proud, but a lot of times they just don't have the extra dollars to get the kids to do certain things in that enrichment, right?
It is. And that's where our libraries try to step in and bring us to that really locally and to really encourage what we have here locally. We have so much talent and like you said, the generosity of people who want to support and will bring their cow or horse and that for a little presentation for the kids and that. So it's been good.
You know, growing up, we had the local libraries in our neighborhoods. I grew up in Buffalo, so every neighborhood seemed to have their local library, and ours was called the Fairfield branch.
Okay.
And I always remember going there a lot as a kid, and there was always this the radiator, the old steam radiators, and they were really, really hot in the wintertime. That's where I curled up and read all the American Heroes series.
Oh yeah.
But the point where I'm going with this is, the library was go read a book or take a book out and bring it back and don't be late. I mean, that summarized to me when I was growing up the library. But it was also a place to go do some homework and things like that. But you had to be good, you had to be quiet, and don't mess around with your friends, and don't make body noises and creaky floors and be a stupid kid. That's really not how it feels anymore.
No, that's not the case. There's still expectations of behavior and don't destroy the library. We appreciate that. But we really a community place. Come bring your family, come engage. Story times are not a quiet thing. I've been shushed by more patrons than I care to count because I'm the loud one laughing, enjoying what's going on around me. And these programs are really meant to bring the community together. And so that stereotypical, what we used to think of as libraries as a quiet place is long gone.
I hadn't been in a library for a while, for whatever reason. And when I got involved with the Ripley Library, I was like in shock because it was raucousy. I mean, but not terrible. But it was like what you said, and a cat running around and just vibrant, and people doing whatever, and then it go to other libraries and the same thing was happening. And go like, what's going on here? They're being disrespectful. But I didn't realize that it's really, I think you hit it, community place, which I really like the sound of that. Community center, the heartbeat of the community, especially in off hours, and because a lot of times the schools are as well, but for adults and so forth. So I wanted to touch on that because I think many people just don't even go to a library anymore. A
lot don't. There's a good core group, I will say, in both Chautauqua and Cattaraugus that are big users of libraries, but we have a vast blank spot that they don't think about it. It's not in their forethought. They don't think to go use.
Well, because they got the thought of this, right?
Yeah.
They got this thought in their mind.
Yep.
And I don't know. I got yelled at a few times from that person, and even in high school, our high school librarian, she looked just like that with the glasses on the nose. But so I'm doing a little commercial break here. Get to your local library. It's not the library of your youth. It's all new and much more user friendly.
Yes.
Maybe that's what I want to say.
Yeah. And right now we're promoting the summer reading, but all of our libraries do things geared for adults, different trainings, computer trainings, different technology progresses. And in our area, we don't always have the connectivity. And so a lot of people lack that internet at home or good fast speed internet. And libraries are also working to bridge that gap as well as to provide not only the access, but then devices to utilize and support to be able to get those skills so you can do what you need to.
I asked our local librarian, Rhonda Thompson, one day, what do people do with our library? And she said they come and do a lot of internet work. And again, so many of us have our iPhones and so many of us have internet connections. And there's a lot of people that don't. I'm still surprised by some people say they can't print something because they don't have a printer.
Yep.
And so, I don't try to be an elitist. It's just the people I know, we seem to have these things. But there are a lot of people that don't. And then I'm thinking, folks that are from a different era, I guess, older than me perhaps, they are just petrified or don't have any idea where to begin with technology. And that's a shame because there's so much good stuff that they could tap. or get help on.
Yes.
Fill out a medical form, or how do I do my taxes online, or whatever. And I know that the many of those resources, at least the equipment's available, maybe not a person to help them, but there's the libraries could be really helpful, right?
Mm-hmm. And that's what we're going to keep working towards, and getting more grants to support.
We got a phone call. Ready to take a phone call?
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Doc. Can you hear me?
It's Mike from Portland. I haven't heard from you in a long time.
I know.
Where have you been?
Well, mostly been around.
All right.
Probably like everyone else, like you said earlier, we've been little prairie dogs.
In our little holes, right? Prairie dogging.
And now I guess we've got to learn how to get out of our hole.
You guys have an awesome library up there. Is it called the Ahira? Ahira library. Very cool.
That's the local one. That's the local one. I did have maybe a more general question.
Go for it.
Now, when I started using the library, I used an out-of-town one, so at least initially no one knew who I was. Well, of course, that changed over time, so I could get work done. But my general question is, and maybe you answered it while I was waiting for you to come on the line, LJ. What is the immediate future? For example, the library that I patronized a lot made a policy you could only stay for half an hour. And each library I know is different.
All right, we're talking about pandemic conditions, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess my question is pandemic conditions in general are lightening up.
Oh, they are.
When will this happen for libraries, or is it happening and I'm just not aware of it?
It is happening currently. Every library has its own comfort level and based on what the community is saying, but a lot of them are starting to ease those restrictions or have a timeline in place that they review every week, every 2 weeks. Can we open up a little bit further, invite the community to stay a little bit longer, and increase the capacity of those who can be in at the same time. So there are still some restrictions that are in place, but those are being looked at least bi-weekly, but a lot of times weekly as well.
Where would Mike find out this information, let's say, next month?
The best place is to look on either the website or your library's website or their Facebook page. And I would actually say more their Facebook page. That tends to get updated quicker, but the websites are a good place for information.
Okay. I didn't even think of that.
Okay. That's about all I've done so far is check the website. It hasn't changed.
Okay.
But I haven't tried Facebook. I didn't even think about that.
I would try the Facebook because I think that's just a quicker format that everyone's more familiar with. The websites take a little bit more clicking, a few more clicks to get there. Or you can always just give your library a call and they'll tell you this is where we're at right now and this is where we're moving to.
Okay. Because I found out one thing. I learned how to work at home. But
That's good.
Well, half good. Okay. If I had to work at home for a living, I think I'd be the poorest person around. I don't concentrate as well. When I go to the library, I concentrate and I actually get work done. But like I say, I bought some better equipment and I can function reasonably well at home. But I still do miss the library.
Yeah. Well, we hope to welcome you back like we were in 2019 here soon.
That would be nice.
All right.
Nice. Well, thank you, LJ.
Well, thank
Thanks
you.
for calling, Mike.
All right, we'll talk again.
Don't be a stranger. Thanks,
I won't.
Mike. Okay,
Bye now.
So as a follow-up to Mike's question, are they rolling back the rules on masks?
Some are, and some are keeping it in place. And again, that comes from a community conversation on where the community is most comfortable with. And so some of them are going with the CDC guidelines. If you are vaccinated, you won't have to. If you are not vaccinated, to please keep the mask on, this kind of 6 feet. And then some of them, I know Prendergast, because they have a higher number coming through those libraries, are still keeping the mask mandate in place for now. And I know their director reviews that quite often and the comfort level.
Okay, so a lot of times they post it right on the door when you get there. You know, and I've been talking about this for about a month or so now. Is, you know, we're still digging out of this thing, and I think we need to continue to respect the wishes of that venue, whether it's a restaurant, a library, the gas station, whatever. If they ask you to wear a mask, wear the mask. I mean, what's it? How hard is it? By the time you put the mask on, you sit down, you take it off, and you got dinner. You get your gas done. You know, if you go to another venue, you're asked to sit over here, and you can take off your mask. So keep 6 feet away, whatever. Other places, I was at the bank yesterday and we were all laughing as I said, wow, I know some of you were hired since the pandemic and now I know what you look like for the first time. I had no idea. And we were all feeling very naked without our mask. I mean, it's sort of a transition that we're going through.
It has been.
So, okay, well, Mike, thanks for calling. That was a good question. I hadn't even thought of that question. So, good stuff. All right, well, where were we? So, the summer program, so Tales in Tales, and this is for children how old?
From babies on up to 18, and then quite a few of our libraries offer incentive for adults to read. I know I'm of the mindset, like you offer me a pizza if I read 20 books, I'm going to read 20 books because I still like pizza.
I love pizza.
And in some of our libraries, again, it depends on budget, so we go for the grants and that, but are offering more and more adults little incentives put in for a drawing. The local community, the businesses are coming together. Sometimes we'll donate like a gift certificate or free pizza.
Yeah.
I know Clymer does that. And so it's across the board. So the story times then, of course, are aimed for our little guys kind of up through age 7, 8. But then there are stuff for teens as well, different programming, and then we don't forget the adults.
And I got to tell you, when it comes to story time, if the person that's doing it right, those kids are like right there with you.
Yep.
And they come up and they practically put their noses into the book and they want to see the picture. And turn it back, let me see that again.
Yep.
And, kids love stories.
Oh, they do.
You know, I when I taught, I did a lot of storytelling with the kids, and you can embellish a bit too.
Oh, yes. And we have tons of great storytellers throughout the system.
Right.
And so if you have little ones, check out the story times, stop in and see what it's like.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So, is there anything else we need to talk about the summer program? So, when does it start?
It vary in different libraries, but a lot of them will start kind of in July. The July 1st through 6th is kind of a good start. Some of them have already started. Great place to still look is on their Facebook, on their website to see timeline of events, different programs that are coming up.
Okay. And one last question before we go into phase 2 of our program today is libraries in general are funded through the state, yes?
Yes and no.
State funding and local taxes?
State funding, local, if a library has done the vote to get the tax vote.
As in Ripley, there's a number of others that have done the same.
Otherwise, it's up to the discretion of that area's finances and whether they can continue to support. And then the other half of it comes from donations and fundraisers and grants.
There's some famous Ben Franklin's quote, and I can't remember, but we're as good as our libraries, or is it smart as our library? We have libraries.
Yep.
Isn't there something like that?
There is. I don't know the exact quote, and I agree wholeheartedly, because if you have a thriving library, your community is thriving, you have everyone has access, because the libraries are welcoming to everyone, regardless of social, economic, of what you believe in, and of who you identify of. You're welcome to use the resources for free, no obligations.
You know, when I've seen pictures of the horror years where they were burning books, you know, that speaks volumes about the mentality of that time. I mean, books just are so important to us, and the information. And you know, my mom always said that she could go anywhere in the world with a book and a rocking chair.
Yep.
I mean, that's a direct quote from my mom, and I always remember that. And that's what I often do is when I get a book, I get into a chair that does a little motion to it, and then off we go. You know, it's a good time. We got about 10.5 minutes left, so let's go to phase 2 of our discussion today. You're going to do a little tour of the Chautauqua Cattaraugus libraries.
I am. Well, I'm just doing Chautauqua today.
Okay, all right.
Because otherwise we have 38 to get through.
All right, so how many do we have today?
26.
Good enough. So let's move right along. So let's start out with what? Is it in alphabetical order?
No, I did it. I tried to do it in North County, South County, and then based on the pictures that I had.
All right,
so we're going to start up in North County here. We have Dunkirk and Ahara up in Brockton. Dunkirk here, they just finished their construction project. They got new doors and new staircase. Their other one was kind of falling apart, crumbling, safety hazard. And so the pictures here is the just finished project, which is gorgeous.
And Dunkirk Library is where? Central?
Yep, Central, right across from the hospital.
Okay. And that has sort of that turn of the century, the 1900s look, doesn't it?
It does.
Kind of reminds me of like up in Buffalo, they had a lot of those domed kind of.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Okay, and Ahira?
Ahira, or Ahira.
I don't know.
I think Julia might be mad if I mispronounce that.
Well, I've just done it 3 different ways. So, and this is a very different looking library.
It is. So
Was it originally a library or a house? Or
I think it was more of a business,
Okay.
and then the library moved into it, and so they can't really expand any further. Like, it is a tinier collection, but that's the beauty of CCLS is even though your library, Brockton or Dunkirk, may not have all the books, you do have access across the county. So you can request a book. We have 3 drivers that go 6 days a week for deliveries, and then 2 to 3 days you'll have the book at your library to be able to read.
And the Brockton Library is on Route 20.
Yep.
Okay. I'm keeping track of how many libraries I've been to. So far, I'm betting on 1,000. I've been in
Excellent.
both of those. Okay. Don't ask me why I get to these places.
So moving along, we got Anderson Lee Library of Silver Creek. They have a fantastic children's room. They've really decorated it up well, nice and inviting, great place for story time.
And that's located where? Is it on the main road?
I think, yeah, it's on the main road.
Okay.
It's been a while since I've been to that one.
Okay.
And then we have Patterson Library in Westfield, which if you haven't visited that one, if you haven't visited all of them, you definitely need to make the road trip to go see them. But Patterson has the beautiful domed library in the middle, and then they have different areas. They have their art museum downstairs, a lot of great things that are happening at Westfield. And then I just found out yesterday they went fine free. And so they are no longer collecting fines for overdue books, which is great. If you've lost a book, of course, there will be a fee for that. But then if it's...
The Patterson Library, to me, is a place that you take someone as part of showing the region.
Yes.
Not just Westfield, but the region, because it's like a got to stop at. Because it's got stuffed animals upstairs.
It does.
I take my kids up there, or my grandkids. Downstairs they've got the children's room, and it's 8-sided, isn't it?
Yep.
I mean, who builds an 8-sided building? It is awesome. And what I like about it is you can go into different, like, alcoves. I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah.
Like chambers, or
Yep.
there's a piano, and there's all the...
You have the computer room, you
Yeah.
have the gathering.
I mean, every library is cool.
Yes.
No question. But the Patterson is unique in its own way.
It is.
And I really enjoy that. And it's really cool when you stand in the middle, right by the circulation desk, I guess you call it, and you look up and there's the dome and then the balcony all around there. That's really, really nice.
When they start to get their music back in, because they usually invite Fredonia students to play, the acoustics in that building
Yep.
are phenomenal.
Yeah.
So a lot of good
Okay.
stuff there. So moving down, Fredonia Library, Darwin Art Barker, a lot of cool things they've done with their space. They have that middle picture is just a nice little reading area. They got comfy chairs around. It's a fountain, so you get to hear the bubbling water.
Oh, is that what that is? All right, for those that are listening right now, it looks like an 8-sided fountain. It's sort of raised. Is that like stones in the middle or something?
It looks like it, yeah.
And water coming out.
And so it's just that nice ambiance to sit and hear the water running and enjoy a book. The one panel where it looks like it's just a blackboard, they've turned that into a youth area, a YA area for their teens. Blackboard, chalkboard, so they can add their own messages, have their own space.
So somebody's been drawing on there too. Very cool. All right.
And then that last picture is their children's area. So a lot of stuffed animals. When we're able to get the kits out so the kids can play around and have a lot of fun there.
Okay, now where's this at?
This is
It's in Fredonia, but
Yep, it's in the square. So you'll have the Opera House, and if you go off to the right, if you're looking at the Opera House on the next side of the square, you'll see the building there. It's not as distinct as a library, but it's with the museum. So it's attached to the museum library as one building.
okay. I don't think I've been in that one. Okay, that's very cool. Okay.
So then we'll move down to Ripley.
Hey, there
you know
we go.
this one.
Awesome.
So as you can see, it's kind of empty right now, but Ripley has just undergone a huge renovation, well, partly because they had to, with their ceiling collapsing down. But this was taken last Saturday for their soft opening, and we're now looking at helping them bring their shelving back in and get the books back on the shelves. But it is absolutely phenomenal. Like it was a unique structure, having been put into an old church to begin with as a library.
You want to know how old that church is?
How old is it?
1893.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
And actually, the building is a little different than it was originally. A couple of steeples are gone.
Okay.
But as we were saying earlier, we discovered 3 different ceilings
Yeah.
The drop ceiling, another ceiling,
incredible.
and then the real ceiling, and it's fabulous. And the colors in there, the lighting, it's like going into another world now than what it used to be. It was very dark and tired, and now it's clean and fresh, and wow.
Yeah.
So are you helping out, you said?
When Rhonda gets to the point where the books need to be put back up, our office will come down and help restock and get everything ready to go.
The books have all been in boxes and in storage and high and dry. I'm on
Yep.
the library board, so I know these things. And we're very excited to get that thing open. And hopefully, I think we're going for June, sometime
Excellent.
by the end of the month.
Oh,
Okay,
good.
now where?
So now we're going down to Sinclairville. I didn't have any, I had pictures, but they disappeared. I think technology was against me this week. But a cute little library, all one story. They have this separated for a community room where Beth welcomes in a lot of different organizations to do meetings. They have their children's room and space where kids and families have the freedom just to explore and enjoy the library. And then we have the Ellington Farman Library. This actually used to be an old general store.
It looks like a general store.
And it's fascinating inside. The picture that I had here to show off was their teen space. Again, carving out that space so teens know that they are welcome. They have their own space. They're not kind of in between because they're too old for the children's room and not old enough for the adult section. But this library, she kept that wooden ladder that is attached to the rails that you would have to climb up to get to the top shelves. So it's a really fun place just to go in and see kind of the history that's been kept and then merged into the library itself.
Very interesting. I haven't been in that one.
So that one's a fun one. And Judy up there is lovely. She loves to welcome and tell you the history and show off all the cool aspects. So this is down in Kennedy, close to the Cattaraugus line.
Looks like they're doing some construction.
They are in the middle of putting in an elevator. They have this gorgeous space downstairs where they do a lot of programming, paint nights, and different things, but it wasn't accessible to our patrons who can't use the stairs. So with the New York State construction grant, they're halfway through their project. And then upstairs they have 3 different reading areas, which are really nice. And we've got the natural light, soft seating, and just a good ambiance to go in and just enjoy the space as it is.
I gotta be honest with you, I did not know a lot of these places had libraries.
Didn't you? Okay.
This is a great education for me.
Give you something to do this summer, to visit them all.
Mayville, I've been there. They're just
Excellent.
right across the street.
So Mayville, again, I had pictures inside. Technology didn't like me. What we're looking at there is one of their newest expansions. It's at the community room. They have TV so you can do presentations. Groups can meet there. A lot of beautiful natural lighting. And then in back of that is the library that people have grown up with. And so a lot of good collection there. The children's space, Melissa has made very inviting and very kid-friendly. And then she's always doing different projects with the community. Last month, 2 months ago, she did the bird decorating competition. So a lot of good things happen at Mayville. And then moving kind of down the lake, you have the Chautauqua Library, Smith Memorial. I'm kind of partial to that because that's where I got my library training.
We probably should keep moving right along. We have a minute left.
All right.
Okay, maybe another one, Jeff.
So you have Bemis Point. They're open for business. Asheville is one of my favorites because they painted their stairway with all the children's books on
Very
the.
cool. That's a cute little library.
It
there,
is.
right there on.
Then you have Lakewood. They just got this new reading area with a boat you can sit in. Fluvanna Library, a lot of good things going on there in their kids section.
Wow.
Got Frewsburg. Definitely check out their basement area for the kids. Faulkner Library is in their town building, so they're always connected with what's going on in the community. You got Sherman. Sherman has a beautiful outdoor space, so if you're looking for open space for meetings, that's a good place. The Bustye Library is a cute little one. A lot of good little programs going on for the kids this summer, which will be good. You got the Findley Lake, another boat. Boats are the thing in this area, apparently. And then the Clymer Library, right across from Necker's, so stop in and see what they're doing there. And then our last one is Jamestown, so kind of the iconic one. And then they're one of the ones doing Storytime Outdoors. They got a beautiful tent, and then that one picture is they started this week.
We've run out of time. LJ, thanks for joining me, and thanks for the tour of the libraries.
Yeah.
I've been in 7 of them so far. So
Well, you're doing good
I'm
then.
doing pretty good. Folks, you've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise. My guest today has been LJ Martin, who's the Outreach and Youth Services Director?
Coordinator.
Coordinator. I can change your title again. From the Chautauqua Cattaraugus Library System. You just saw a tour of the libraries in the area and about the summer reading program. So check it out. Go get a book. Go do something cool in the library and support your local libraries. We're going to do this all again next week. So right here in Access Chautauqua. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the great weather. Get out and do something. There's so much to do here in Chautauqua County. Bye-bye. Take care.